welcome back to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Well, if you are watching me in real time, we are coming up to what's known as Blue Monday, supposedly said to be one of the most depressing days of the year. And yeah, I guess after the fun of the holidays has worn off and the dull, dark, colder days seem to never end, it's easy to see why we might be feeling a little bit less than our best at this time of the year. And of course, I think it's perfectly normal to feel down from time to time, but there are the little things that we can all do to help support our mental health and our mental well-being. So with this in mind, I thought that I would just share here a few of the little hacks that I do to support my mental health and my well-being. But before we dive in, I do want to say that please, if you are struggling with your mental health and it is affecting your quality of life, do seek support from your doctor or your mental health professional. That is really important. It's also worth knowing that our hormones can impact our mental well-being, particularly around the time of perimenopause and menopause. We've got so much information on that you can access free of charge on lizzarewellbeing.com. There's lots of information on the menopause. There's also a number of resources that you can download. Again, they're free. From the Menopause Charity, there's also the Balance app, Menopause app, which is free as well. Well, starting the day with movement is certainly something that helps me mentally. So whether it's a quick run in the park or a walk or even just some stretches in my bedroom, just getting the body moving is such a good way to start the day on a positive note. All movement is good, but it's even better if you can get outside because the morning light helps to regulate our circadian rhythm. That's really important for sleep, and it can also help to lift our mood. So getting some real daylight into our brains is important. Vitamin D, that's another really important one to top up with this at this time of the year, particularly for those of us living in the northern hemisphere. In Europe, sunlight exposure is really limited throughout the winter months, and we're much more susceptible to vitamin D deficiency during this time. Now, if you've got darker skin, for example, if you have African Caribbean or South Asian background, you may not be exposed to enough UVB radiation to make enough vitamin D from sunlight if you're living in the northern hemisphere. So that's really important to be aware of. Plus, if you spend a lot of time indoors, this also limits our exposure to sunlight and decreases our ability to create our own vitamin D. Well, a lack of vitamin D can actually lead to a number of symptoms, including tiredness, fatigue. It can cause low mood, depression, anxiety. I actually top up with Better You oral sprays. I really like these. You just squirt on the inside of your mouth. Each morning it's absorbed through the mucosal tissues here. And you're done. And we've also got a Liz Loves code that gets you 15% off your order. So that's also good to know. Now, cold water therapy. If you have been following me for a while, you'll know that I'm a big fan of a quick blast of cold water therapy. Quick being the operative word. So whether it is a 60-second blast in the shower or maybe a quick dip in the sea, or if you've got access to a pond or another form of cold water, it really does seem to have benefits for our mental health as well as our physical health. And they think it's because cold water on the skin sends an electrical impulse to the brain. And this can help to increase mental clarity. It can give our energy levels a bit of a boost. And also it can stimulate the happy hormones. These are called endorphins, and they also get released. So these are all lifting our mood and leaving us feeling a bit more invigorated. Well, talking about the nerve and nervous system, the vagus nerve is something that's been getting a lot of airtime recently in regards to our health and our well-being, and for good reason. So the vagus nerve, I've got my little Sensate gadget here which links up to that. It's actually the longest nerve in the body, running from the cranium right the way down through the body. And it links into all our organs, and it controls all our involuntary sensor functions such as heart rate, speech, mood, and it helps us switch between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is responsible for our fight or flight response, which triggers a stress response in terms of how our body sees danger. When we get an increased heart rate, shallow breathing, we tense up. So our sympathetic nervous system is responsible for that, and we need to trigger a response which says, actually, it's fine, we can calm down, we can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the rest and digest, slower heart rate, deeper breathing. And if our vagus nerve isn't working as it should, we tend to stay in the fight or flight response for longer than necessary. So there are a number of ways that we can help to stimulate our vagus nerve through breath work, for example. That's really important. Humming is also another technique, and singing. And actually, I mentioned this little gadget, the Sensate. This is something that I've found really useful. You charge it up, and then you just place it on your chest here. And you have headphones on, and it plays vibrations and music. And it really is good at toning up the vagus nerve. If you fancy getting one of these, then use your Liz Loves code at the checkout for Sensate. I'll pop a link in the captions here, and that gets you, I think, £30 off. So it's really well worth doing. And I've given these to so many members of my family. Actually, Guy was the most recent recipient at Christmas to get one of these, because they do really work. So meditation, again, is something that I've talked about before. That's really helpful. You can do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, or just find a little bit of time during the day. If you find that your thoughts are running away from you and you just need to kind of come back to base camp, if you like, inside the body, I popped a little Instagram post on my own Instagram, Liz Earle Me, which shows you just how you can do a very simple 10-minute meditation. So what about you? What have you tried? What helps you with your mental health? I'd love to know. I'd love to know whether you've tried any of the tips that I've talked about here. You can pop a comment below. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, do share it with your friends. Don't forget you can click the subscribe button so that you never miss another video. We're uploading them all the time. I really hope that they're helpful for you. Keep well. Until the next time, bye-bye.